How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name's Dice. I'm a top 1v1 SSL early season, one of the first players to get rewards, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys a full breakdown on shooting, from what different shots you can take to which different shots you should take to when to shoot and when not to shoot. I'm going to get into it all real quick. I'm going to show you guys some positions I use these shots in, and then I'll go into how I actually make these shots work, like what buttons I press, blah 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 blah. So for the first shot, I'm versing Twiz, RLCS Regional Finalist. I think he has like 46k earned. You can search up his Liquipedia. This is him. And so the first one is a shot right off the kickoff, just creating separation. That's the first shot. Second goal, I win the kickoff again, and I see him flip, and it's another shot. Let's look at my third goal. Okay, this one was a flick. Let's look at my fourth goal. Another open net shot right here. So you'll notice that pretty much all my goals are all ground-based goals. So I feel like I have a lot of liberty to speak on ground mechanics, specifically shooting and dribbling and flicking, because it's kind of my cup of tea. It's kind of what I specialize in. So yeah, let's get into it. Sorry for the long delay. So first things first, there's really 3 or 4 shots you're ever going to see me do. One of them, one of the most common, especially right after a kickoff, is sometimes the ball will be like at a dead stop. And if you have no momentum, sometimes maybe you'll watch higher ranked players and you'll wonder, how do they get a lot of power on this ball when you have no momentum? Like if you try to hit it, it might look something like this or something. I don't know. So the way to do it is pretty much by using your momentum in correlation or coupled with your boost. So like you'll notice that even with 0 boost used, I wish that went in so I could see the KPH. Even with 0 boost used and like starting from like no momentum, I can still get the ball pretty quick. Like you can't reach that ball off of a kickoff. And it looked really slow, but that's probably like 50 kph. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. I got that. But yeah, so obviously the more boost you have, the faster you can get the ball to go. Unfortunately, Bacchus Wand isn't on right now, so I can't, like, there's an update just launched, so I can't see the kph right after I score, so I kind of have to wait a little bit, but that's 95, so enough yapping. How do we actually do this, right? So what you want to do is you basically want to make contact with one wheel and then have like a follow-through flip. So like this. So what you don't want to do is hit it like in the middle of both of your wheels or with both wheels at once. I mean, that can work, but you're going to sacrifice a bit of power, because just like flicking, the way to get the most powerful flicks, which that was not, is by hitting it on the very corner of your car. And I'm kind of like blundering now that I'm recording, but like the best way to get power with anything is hitting it with the corner of your car. If I hit anything with the corner of my car, it's going to have the most power. So we can apply the same logic to shooting. And so that's why it's also easier to miss open nets using this strategy, but you'll get a lot more power and you'll be able to score a lot more open nets without any boost or velocity used. So like 0 momentum, just driving. No one's reaching that ball off of a kickoff. It's if it's in a 1v1. Obviously, the guy cheating or going for boost will be able to reach it, but that's pretty much how you do it. Is you try to hit it with the corner of the corner of your car, and then you do a flip forward. If you don't flip, you're not gonna have any momentum. It's just gonna look like this. So the flip actually pushes your car through the ball, and then that's what gives it the speed. So that's how you do the first shot. The second shot you saw me do, or the first shot of the replay, is I did something like this, right? Or I don't remember the exact context, but it was something like that. And that's because the more separation you have with the ball, the more velocity you can create and the more speed to the ball you can transfer through. And that may sound really complicated and weird, but if I start the shot from right here, I'm going to have no speed, right? Because there's no, like, I don't have any time to get speed. But if I start the shot from back here, it's going to be way faster, obviously, because I have more separation. It's kind of like a flip reset in a way, because if I start a flip reset and I'm this close to it, I can't really create separation and it's just weird. But if I do a flip reset and I have the separation, then we can actually make a play happen. Unfortunately, I'm not great with air mechanics, so that's not a good example, but like it's pretty much the same with any mechanic. So when you're shooting, if you can, you want to have as much separation with the ball as possible, and that's going to give you as much speed. So when we do this with other things like a bounce dribble shot, we're closing the space. And so I can shoot, like anyone can shoot to any part of the net when there's a bounce dribble. That's why it's so threatening, is because someone can pick any side of the net, right, left, middle, and it's a threatening shot pretty much every time. So that's how you do the bounce dribble shot. The first one is going to be really common in 1v1 situations, which is why I brought it up, because I'm a 1v1 main. So that's really common off of kickoff. You'll see a lot of time, like it's open nets if you can master getting the ball as fast as possible with no momentum. Because if you've no momentum and you're both 0 boost, they're not going to be able to reach the ball unless they're Zen doing insane recovery mechanics. And even then, it's just basic fundamentals will always beat the fancy mechanics every time. Someone that plays 150 hours a week will lose to someone that has all the fundamentals mastered. That's for the first two. The next shot I'm going to go into is the best shot you can do, and that's how I get most of my goals, and it's when the ball's coming to you. So if it's off of a bounce too, obviously if you just time it, you can get a really good shot, but we can couple this with just slight momentum towards the ball. So if we do something like this, this is the most powerful shot you can make if we have any momentum coming towards us. I wasn't trying to score that, by the way. But like if we have any momentum, it's kind of awkward when you send it to you because it's not that realistic, but this isn't a real game, obviously. But like you can create the most power. So even if I touch this just a little bit, like this, I should still be able to get a decent chunk of power. Yeah, it's the same thing. So we can get loads of power, and that's probably 83 kph if I'm just guessing. 84, I'm actually crazy. So yeah, like we can still get a lot of speed just by using the same strategy we used earlier, by hitting it with the corner of our car and then flipping and following through. So we can just pretty much use this in every situation. And even if you're shooting in the air, it's the same idea, right? So if we want to go for a ceiling shot, which I don't really recommend, if we hit it with the corner, it's going to have the most power. So we can pretty much shoot like this anywhere. So if we're in the air, if we're off of a flip reset, if you shoot with the corner of your car, it's going to be the best shot you can possibly take. So now we've covered pretty much the 3 main shooting things that I do. What I'm going to do now is kind of show you some main mistakes. So a lot of times when you watch people shoot, they shoot kind of like this. Like, let me do it. They shoot like that. And that looks fast, but it's not. Like, that's not a good shot at all. No offense to me. Like, this isn't a good shot. And the reason this is happening is because I'm not making contact with the wheels. I'm making contact with the hood of my car. And this is especially common in the Octane. Like, it's easier to make this mistake because the corner of the wheels are, like, right next to the body. It's kind of the main reason I use the Esper is because the Esper has wheels pushed out to the side. But you'll see people do things like this and they're wondering, why do my shots get no power? And it's because you're not making contact with the wheel. And even if you do straight like this, you can still get power as long as you have both the wheels hitting the ball at the same time. So if you're making contact with like the very center of your car, you can still get power, but the wheels and the front of your car are going to create the most power. But what you don't want to do is hit it with the hood, because if you flip too early, you'll hit it with the hood and it's just not a good shot. And we can know this is true because when we flick, when we want to get power, we want to use the wheels because that's what we know creates the most power. And how to create the best flicks is hitting it with the corner of your wheels. But if we hit it with the top of our car, it creates height and it doesn't create power. So if we just use the same, I guess, formula, for lack of a better word, we can pretty much know that for power, we can apply the same principle and use either the front of our car or we can use the wheels. Because, like I just showed, using the back of our car isn't going to generate power, and the best way is to use our wheels like such. And also, your wheels are kind of like, even for like everything. So look at this, for example. So if I hit this ball up and I hit this with my wheel, well, that was a really bad example. If I hit this ball up and I hit this with my wheel, I don't know if I hit that with my wheel, actually. It's kind of hard to show. But like when I'm shooting, and I already use both my flips, I always try to shoot with my wheel because I've learned that that's the best way to actually shoot. And that's just what's worked for me. So that's the first common problem when shooting, is using your hood on accident or flipping too early. That's the first major problem. The second major problem is boost. So if I boost through this, it's going to be very poor because when I flip, when you boost while you flip, it's pushing, like, so middle of the flip, it's doing this and it's pushing me backwards. So if we boost through the flip, unless it's a speed flip, it's just going to slow us down. But a speed flip, boosting doesn't slow you down. So when we do it, we want to boost to get to the position where we're going to flip, like maybe boost to here or here. And then once we're actually going to do the kickoff, don't boost at all. which is why I can still get power off the kickoff with 0 momentum with 0 boost, because I don't even need the boost to do the shot at all. The boost just helps you get there quickly and gives your car momentum. So if I boost to this and then I shoot it, it's going to be way faster, obviously, but do not boost through the shot or you're really going to hinder your shot, and you're going to be wasting more boost too. Like if I go like this, I'm slowing down my recovery. It's horrible. So first mistake, hitting the roof of your car with the ball or flipping too early. The second mistake is boosting through it, which slows down your recovery and makes the shot weaker. Now the third and probably the most common mistake is shooting at the wrong time, right? So when you're shooting, you don't want to shoot when someone's in the net, because obviously you'll just lose possession. So that's like a mistake, obviously. But when you want to shoot is when you notice someone's out of position, like when it's possible that there's an opening and you want to hit the ball really hard. You'll see that most of the time when I shoot is when I have the ball rolling towards me. The only time I shoot in the momentum is off of the kickoff like this, because it's really not that good of a shot. Like there's only so much I can do to even make this a decent shot, because if it's not the very beginning of the game or like the beginning of the kickoff, I'm not going to score off of a shot like this. It's just not going to happen. So I always try to shoot when I have some sort of momentum. So once again, I know it's not much momentum at all, and usually there's going to be way more, but shooting this ball will be a goal most of the time because it can get over opponents, it can catch them off guard. I do it all the time just to show you guys a normal example, because there wasn't really any shooting where I had momentum towards me. I probably did it in this game too. I don't really remember every goal I play. Oh, this is a shot. Okay, so look, the ball's rolling towards me. He's too pushed up. I do the exact same thing, and it's a goal, and he can't reach it. It's the same concept, and I really do use shooting in 90% of my goals, so that's kind of how I feel like I have liberty. This was an open net, so I'm not even going to count this. But like shooting is like literally everything I know. This was the kickoff one. There's no momentum, but I opt for a flick because I already have the ball in my car. But it's the same thing basically. So that's pretty much how I do it. How I do my shots. It's kind of my secrets I'm giving away for free. So you guys should be thanking me in the comments. And then if you're not subscribed and I'm giving the sauce away for free, that's crazy. Like that's insane. Another bounce dribble shot here. I actually remember this exact play because he forfeited after that goal after that and typed in the chat things I'm not going to repeat. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have in this video. I hope you guys found this video at least somewhat informational. I mean, this is pretty much my bread and butter, like I've said a few times. Like, I love shooting, and it's just because a lot of times, even at the highest rank, you'll catch people really out of position. And so this is kind of just a way to, you know, just let them know they're out of position, and they'll get really tilted too because you're shooting like really basic shots. So it's kind of a way to tilt your opponent as well, because if they see you're just shooting basic shots and it's working, it's just going to tilt them. And a lot of people in my games just forfeit early, which is how I have like a 72 win streak and I'm 1400. You guys can look up my tracker. My name is YouTube Dice _RL. You can check my tracker. I don't think I've lost a single game of 1v1 besides at the beginning of the season when I D-ranked to champ so I could get rewards easier. Call it scummy, but I'm not winning 50 games in a row in SSL. But yeah, that's all I have in this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. See you on the next one. Peace.